Today, President Obama marked the 5th anniversary of the collapse of Lehman Brothers and the apex of the crisis by touting how much safer the U.S. economy is right now. The president says his administration has laid a, quote, new foundation for a stronger economy, but gave much of the credit for the recovery to ordinary Americans.
All of this happened because ultimately of the resilience and the grit of the American people. And we should be proud of that. And on this 5-year anniversary, we should take note of how far we've come from where we were 5 years ago.
Well, one of the biggest names in banking during the outbreak of the financial crisis is speaking out about the reforms in the banking system. Bob Dimon, the former chief executive at Barclays Bank, is calling for more international coordination between regulators to make progress on so-called too big to fail laws. Dimon says banks took on way too much risk in the years leading up to the financial crisis and that new regulations have helped reduce some of that risk.
Dimon was one of the top bankers at the center of the financial crisis 5 years ago, but there are, of course, dozens of others, some of whom are still in the same jobs they held back then. Andrew Ross Sorkin, author of the definitive history Too Big to Fail, reports on where some of the other key players are now.
Dick Fuld was a star on Wall Street, the longest-running CEO of any firm. In 2007, he mounted a vicious campaign against short sellers that he said were trying to put Lehman out of business.
What I really want to do is I want to reach in, rip out their heart, and eat it before they die.
5 years after Lehman's collapse, Fuld is chastened. He has a small consulting firm in Manhattan, no high-profile clients, or at least none that are saying so. Of the clients he does have, one warned his tarnished reputation could potentially be damaging. Fuld has spent much of the past 5 years trying to avoid criminal and civil charges. He ran up legal bills into the millions of dollars, much of it paid for by the Lehman estate. The DOJ and SEC dropped their investigations after they concluded they didn't have enough evidence against him. While he rode his Lehman stock all the way down from $1 billion to $56,000, he's not exactly poor. He still has his Greenwich mansion worth over $8 million, and he sold a Park Avenue apartment and some art for over $46 million. But he has told friends and others that he is still consumed thinking about Lehman Brothers. Since stepping down as Bear Stearns' CEO in January of 2008, Jimmy Cain has stayed out of the banking business, focusing instead on the contract bridge circuit, where he is currently ranked number 23 in the world. In addition to his $25 million apartment at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, Cain owns a home on the Jersey Shore and a condo in Boca Raton. Erin Callan, a rising star at Lehman Brothers and Wall Street's first female CFO. 3 months before Lehman went bankrupt, Callan told CNBC the firm was headed in the right direction.
We are in a great spot now with this capital behind us, with wind in our sails.
After she left Lehman in June 2008, she did a brief stint at Credit Suisse before leaving the business in New York altogether. She declined to do press until the recent Lean In debate prompted her to write an op-ed in the New York Times on the work-life balance debate. In 2007, Countrywide CEO Angelo Mozillo adamantly told CNBC that his company wasn't going anywhere.
There is no more chance for bankruptcy today for Countrywide than it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and when the stock was $45 a share. We were a very solid company.
3 years later, with Countrywide having been purchased by Bank of America, Mozillo paid out over $67 million to settle fraud and insider trading charges filed against him by the SEC. Banned from serving at any publicly traded company, he's been laying low since then. Former CEO Chuck Prince resigned from Citigroup in 2007, and in 2010 he seemed pretty contrite about his role in the Wall Street crisis.
I'm sorry that our management team, starting with me, like so many others, could not see the unprecedented market collapse that lay before us.
Prince currently sits on the boards of Xerox and Johnson & Johnson. He's also for hire on the speaking circuit, represented by the same firm that represents Tim Geithner, Larry Summers, and the Clintons. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Andrew Ross Sorkin.